stunning looks than swift.
The runs keep coming at the Arun Jaitley Stadium in Delhi. Not quite the 350 that Wasim Jaffer was talking about, but we're here to look at the Afghanistan innings on Maruti Suzuki Arena, presents ESPN Cricket for Matchday. Wasim, not 350 as we've said, but Afghanistan's second highest score at a World Cup, so I guess decent.
Yeah, it's a decent score. Still something to bowl at, but considering the situation, considering the the surface, obviously it won't be much of a hard work. I'm expecting England to bat decently well, but yeah, I mean, like we said, Gurbaz obviously contributed. He was the main guy, and he looked class apart until he got run out. I thought he was somebody who probably will go on and get 150. But the other guys didn't step up, like we've said. Even Ibrahim Zadran got a start. I mean, they had 114 in 16 overs, and the bulk of scoring was done by Gurbaz. But the other guys, number 3, 4, 5, didn't chip in. So I mean, you'll take it 280. It's not a bad performance considering they at least put some runs on the board.
Yeah, and we'll dissect all of those innings and who did what and when and how. But Urooj, your immediate reaction to that, I mean, it might not be enough, but it looks all right, doesn't it?
I mean, from an Afghanistan point of view, and we know the quality or the limitations in quality, temperament that they have, they even then they would probably consider they were about 30, 40 short, given the start they had. Like Wasim puts it, they'll have something to bowl, but the ground that they're playing at, the strip that they had, the short boundaries, and the start that they had, the 114 for no loss, and Gurbaz were going all gun blazing. Again, their middle order didn't step up. Even the runs that their batters did get were a strike rate of 30, 50, 70. Even had those been at a runner ball plus, they would probably been around 300, 310.
Okay, so still quite critical of the Afghan batters there, but let's talk about their good start. So 114 run opening stand, and they looked really good in the first 15 overs. Was there something there that was different for you to what we've seen from them previously?
I mean, Gurbaz, stands out without a doubt. I thought Ibrahim Zadran took a lot more time, considering he's in good form, got runs. So, to the liking of this ground, or they've been here before and they played. So I was surprised the way Ibrahim Zadran batted. Number 3, 4, 5. I mean, that's the weak spot of this team, and the kind of shots I thought they played. Rahmat Shah getting stumped to a nothing delivery. Even Ibrahim Zadran for that matter. I mean, there wasn't much help, even though Rashid bowled well, Livingston bowled well, but they didn't took on the spinners. They allowed themselves to bowl. Apart from Nabi, I thought there wasn't much that the bowlers actually got wickets. It was the batters who gifted the wickets. So if they had probably played themselves in or got into a more positive intent, they would have got what Urooj said, 300 or maybe 300 plus. So I thought other than Gurbaz, everybody could have done better.
And despite us saying that they could have done better, and maybe they did do better, Urooj, the English bowlers in the first 15 overs, particularly Wokes, didn't look so great. What was going wrong for them there?
Yeah, I don't think Wokes is having a start to the tournament. I think even the other day he bowled something like, I think, 7 over 64 runs without a wicket, and he's gone wicketless again today. And I think that'll be a concern for England, where the new ball bowling is probably not as effective. Yes, at Delhi, the margin of error being such a flat track with such a sort of true wicket, whether you can trust the bounce and hit through the line, use the pace, margin of error is very less. But I still felt that even when it was too short, it was just at that full hook length. It wasn't short bouncers, as in where you're trying to hit the badge up on the helmet. Even the Yorkers, they were probably more half volleys than you are landing the Yorkers. The cutters weren't quite there as well. I just felt that they weren't consistent. Again, the channel around off stump because the margin of error on such wickets low. And most of the runs that came up front were just hitting through the line, using the pace square of the wicket angle, opening up the bat face to open up the angles. And the short balls were just being plummeled all the way through, even full face of the bat when it was down the wicket. So it was quality batting, and that will be a concern. Even Sam Curran, again, leaking a lot of runs. Mark Wood, Reece Topley did fairly well. Adil Rashid was always going to be their go-to bowler. But yes, concerns with the new ball with Wokes.
Urooj, you spoke about the quality of the batting. How much of Gurbaz's innings was due to his own good batsmanship and how much due to the poor bowling? How would you balance that assessment?
Now, credit where credit is due. I thought Gurbaz, as always, is always a gutsy player, is always brave and likes to take the bowlers on. You still have to score the runs, even if the bowling is poor. And because of his aggressive approach and intent, the bowlers most often can be put off. Don't forget, Wokes has got all the wealth of experience. But for Gurbaz, I think you have to give him credit for taking the England bowlers on. Yes, it's also important to put away the bad deliveries, but I think it was quality down to his batting.
And Wasim, it must be a lot on Gurbaz. I mean, we mention his name every time we talk about Afghanistan. He's the one that has to carry the lineup. He's a young man. Given all of that, can we say this 80 is maybe worth 100, or are we still disappointed with him?
I think he'll be disappointed the way he was batting. Got 80 or 57, and most of the overs were left. I mean, he was out in the 20s, somewhere around that overs.
Yeah, the 19th.
19th over, so a lot of overs to go. He would have easily got 150 or even more. I mean, the kind of form that he showed, and he's somebody who they rely on, and he's not scared to play his shots. No matter who's bowling, he takes themselves on. He plays spin well, so he'll be disappointed, and he looked frustrated because he got the start. He got the innings going, and he didn't got runs in the previous game. So I think it was a missed opportunity for him. But the new guy that played Ikram, I thought he was very impressive. Somebody who's playing his first game in the World Cup. I thought he played really well. It was him who actually took the total to 280. But the other guys, obviously, we spoke about it, could have done better.
Yeah, and he had to come in and do a bit of a rebuilding job. So let's look at that collapse now. 6 for 76, but started off with those 3 wickets for 8 runs. The first one you mentioned, Ibrahim Zadran, frustrated. The run out, the Gurbaz run out is the one I want to zone in on, because what happened there? Who should have called?
I think it was Gurbaz who wanted the run because he was running to the danger end. So it was his call, and obviously he didn't calculate it properly. Probably thought he would made it. So it was, I think it was his fault. And then Rahmat Shah, I thought that was a very kind of a casual dismissal. Somebody who just missed a ball and got stumped. And then Hashmatullah Shahidi, obviously, he takes time to go on, missed a straight one from root. And then Umar Zai, I thought, he played one shot too many. Again, the strike rate was an issue because in the back of their mind, they all knew that 280, 300 won't be enough on this ground. They played India here before, so they know. So, the kind of shot selection probably is an issue. They have not mastered this format yet. So, you can understand that. But, yeah, they can improve without a doubt.
Urooj, your take on that run out? I mean, the captain at the other end, 2 wickets have just fallen, and suddenly they're going for a run where you're putting the man who's in a little bit of danger. What did you think of that?
No, I think it was Gurbaz. I think he will probably hold himself, put his hand up and say miscalculate on his end. But it just goes to show what that a little bit of sort of miscalculation or unfortunate run out can do to a score where you could have scored that 30, 40 more runs because you were the key man, and we keep calling him the key man, but still at a very young age with huge responsibility. So I think just miscalculation on his end, Gurbaz, but that pretty much cost them a good 30, 40 runs. Like you said, he was out in the 19th over, very frustrated when he did get out. Had he been there for another period, 10 overs, the game could have looked different, because even when the players around you are not scoring at the same rate, it just adds that added pressure onto Gurbaz as well. So I just felt that all in all, the run out summed up the rest of Afghanistan's batting.
Okay, so let's move to having a look at the England spinners. There were 3 of them in operation. They bowled 24 overs, went for 4 runs and over, so 96 runs conceded, and the most important number there, that they took 5 wickets between them. We're going to dissect each of their performances in turn, but before we do that, Urooj, as a unit, how do you think they performed in these conditions?
Adil Rashid is always going to be England's trump card, especially in the subcontinent in India, where he will extract spin with wrist spinners. There is always a game-changing ability. And Livingston and Root are inbuilt bowling options into their 11. Root is probably more underrated than he actually is. He's very good with his control and line and length. And Livingston can bowl the offies, he bowls the leggies, he darts the ones in as well. So, and he's also very smart with his bowling. But Adil Rashid is always going to be their attack with main bowling attack along with Wood, who they rely on heavily to pick up wickets. Because for me, a wrist spin, when you land it well, and I think at the moment going around with all the wrist spinners, right arm wrist spinners, I think Adil Rashid far and beyond, especially in white ball, he's absolutely brilliant. So as a unit, 5 wickets, and what you mentioned is 4 runs and over. That was what was key.
Wasim, anything to add on that in terms of just the spin attack as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. Adil Rashid, obviously, he's not done well so far against New Zealand. We've seen, he struggled. But today I thought he bowled well. You got to give that that Afghanistan batters also helped him. And when Gurbaz got out, there was nobody who took the spinners on. So that also helped. I thought Livingston, obviously, he's one of the unique ones who bowls offies to the left-handers and leggies, and he bowls really, really well. And I thought he bowled well today, but there wasn't anyone who was taking the spinners on, even to the Joe Root or Liam Livingston. So I think it was the quality of the batsmanship. If Gurbaz had batted more time, I think the numbers would have changed.
So what you're saying is probably going to sound confusing to some people in that the Afghan batters, you would think, grow up facing a lot of spin. We know that we talk about the strength of their spin attack, but then they don't play spin very well. I mean, how do you explain this conundrum?
Well, I think they play, it's the shot selection, probably, and the execution of the shot. That's something which is missing. They play the shorter format really well, the T20s and the stuff, because most of them play franchise cricket. This 50 overs sometimes, makes it harder. And we've seen that, best of the batters struggle. Surya Kumar Yadav is a good example, who's out and out, outstanding player in T20. But as soon as the 50 over comes, you get more overs to bat. You kind of confuse yourself, how you want to go about your batsmanship. So I think that's where the confusion lies. In T20 format, they'll probably play them better. They come out and, all guns blazing. But in this format, when to hit on, when to, rotate the strike, that's where they struggle, I feel.
Urooj, would you say something similar in that it's about patience and structuring innings over 50 overs, or do you pick up something else that they're doing wrong?
Yeah, I think it's about constructing your innings, knowing what your role is in the side, what position you come in, and what the game situation at that moment sort of asks for your demands of you. I think that's important. The more Afghanistan play one-day cricket against quality oppositions, that middle order that we talk about will know how to construct innings. And like Wasim said, more importantly, in T20 cricket, it's not about so much the rotation, it's more about sort of hitting the boundaries and getting the big runs. And in one-day cricket, it's quite hand in hand, the rotation of strike and the boundary hitting options. And how do you construct your innings? I mean, we saw Virat Kohli, a prime example of the other day when I think it was only 40% of his runs or even less came off boundaries, and he ran well between the wickets. And sometimes especially to spinners, they don't like bowling to different batters. They want to bowl their 5 or 6 deliveries to the same batter. So sometimes nicking off 6 and over for a period of time, and then the odd boundary, you keep up with the rate with even 6 with singles. So I think that's something that the Afghanistan players will only learn once they play more one-day cricket against quality oppositions.
Yeah, so just some good old-fashioned, longer format cricket, I suppose. But Wasim, someone who maybe showed us glimpses of that is the newcomer that you mentioned, Ikram Ali Keel, playing in his first World Cup match of this tournament, but he's got a previous World Cup half-century. Seems like he's got a good temperament. What did you think of that?
Yeah, he's only 23-year-old, playing his first big game against a good opposition and against good bowling attack. So, he looked pretty impressive, looked solid in technique. He rotated the strike really well, hit some really, good shots as well. So, pretty impressive. Going forward, I probably want to see him play most of the games in the World Cup, and looks a good talent going forward.
And Urooj, he had 2 partnerships, a 43 and a 44 down at number 7 and 8. It's that middle order building. I guess this is lower middle order building. Did you kind of see how he marshaled that lower order? Did that impress you? As we say, he's just 23 in his 15th game.
Yeah, very impressive considering his last one-day games came of 2019, and he played a couple earlier on in fact, in last month only. Apart from that, he hasn't played a lot of international one-day cricket, and it's not easy to sort of, like you're saying, marshal the lower middle order who are there to probably just not the best of batters, of course, on your side, and then to have them come along, keep scoring at a rate. Yes, he probably didn't have a strike rate of 100, but that was just where the situation of the game was. So I thought he was good game awareness from him, and this will probably give him a lot of confidence. Also, what it does for Afghanistan is that it inspired change worked for them. So if that Shahidi, Rehmat Shah, Omar Zai come and score some runs, you know you've got Ikram in that lower middle order, and then you've obviously got Mujib and Rashid who can swing a few as well towards the back end. So they all come together. I think it kind of works. Will start working for Afghanistan.
Yeah, so they'll have to see when it will come together. Maybe not particularly in this match, but last thing on this innings. Wasim, we spoke about it in the pre-show, Sam Curran and the way that he's bowling at the death, going at quite a lot of runs per over. Today was another example of that. How much longer should they keep him in the 11?
Well, I think when they move from Delhi, it depends where they're playing. I think they're playing...
they're here in Mumbai against South Africa.
They're playing in Mumbai. So, you know, they could look at Moeen Ali and strengthen their batting, even though they've got a lot of spinners, you know, Livingston and then Joe Root to bowl, but Moeen Ali coming in will probably strengthen their batting as well. And they've got seamers. They've got 3-4 seamers already. And Sam Curran hasn't found it yet. I don't know how long they'll stick with him. But Moeen Ali, again, he's ready. And the more they play into the tournament, obviously the wickets are going to get, you know, into spinning mode. And you'll probably need Moeen Ali there, and the batting gets strengthened as well.
And you think they have the resources in the other seam bowlers that we've seen, even though Wokes had a tough time and is having a tough time? Do you think there's enough in the other resources?
I think they've got Reece Topley and Mark Wood who are, you know, pretty decent. They've got pace. Chris Wokes will come good. You know, he's got experience. He'll get a good game, I feel, very soon. But yeah, I mean, 3 seamers, and if Stokes comes in, I don't know if he's going to bowl at all or not. And with Moeen Ali coming in. So, you know, Sam Curran hasn't found it yet. So I don't know how long they can stick with him. But Moeen Ali is the obvious one. If the wickets spinning and they're playing on the bigger grounds here in the tournament. So that's the option they can go to.
Okay, so that's looking a little bit further down the track. For the immediate future, England have to chase 285 runs. It sounds like a pretty doable chase, especially given the powerhouse of their batting lineup. I'm guessing you're both going to say they're going to chase it down. So tell us what else we can expect from this innings. Is it run rate that we're looking at? Is it Afghanistan particular bowlers that you want to see do well? Wasim first and then Urooj.
Well, I want to see Mujib obviously bowl well. Rashid again, you know, he's the key. Obviously, I'm expecting England to win and win around 30 to 35 over mark. But I want to see Rashid bowl well. Even if it doesn't pick wicket, at least, you know, be economical and bowl in that channel. Obviously, England batters will come hard, and Mujib as well. Nabi, to an extent, because it's a smaller ground, off spinner find it difficult to bowl here, but Mujib and Rashid to bowl well, and obviously the fast bowlers to start well. At least that's something they can take a positive out of it.
Yeah, Urooj, on Mujib, he hasn't really taken a lot of wickets recently. Is he also your player to zone in on?
Yeah, I think like Wasim said, him and Rashid will be key. Yes, we know it's a small ground, but you want the batters to try and hit your better balls to the boundary and score off them. It's what's they've been too loose. They haven't been consistent enough with their channels. Both the seamers as well, Fazlak Farooqi and Naveen, and Mujibur Rahman and Rashid Khan. I think, like we keep talking about, I mean, numbers again tell a story. Since 2021, average and strike rate both have gone up, which is not ideal for somebody who does lead that attack, especially when he does bowl with the new ball. So you're expecting England to come strong at you. It is going to be a matter of taking wickets. You can't hold England down to 284 in a matter of 50 overs just because of the powerhouse of batting that they have and the quality that they have till about number 8. Even Wokes can bat. So for Afghanistan, I think it'll have to be how good can we be with our channels, apply as much pressure as we can rather than giving them loose opportunities to score and let the game slip away very quickly.
And for England, would you say net run rate is going to be somewhere in the back of their minds given the nature of their defeat to New Zealand?
Yeah, absolutely. I in these sort of formats where everyone plays everyone, the fourth team most often than not is a toss-up between run rate with the fifth side, and Pakistan's been on the receiving end of that, and we've seen a lot of teams trying to score those runs down fairly quickly, even if they lose wickets, because of net run rate. So just the way the teams are going and some unexpected results in this World Cup, even England didn't have the best of games in the opener against New Zealand. So I'm sure they will be looking to rack this down in less than 30 overs.
Okay, less than 30 overs, says Urooj. 30 to 35, says Wasim Jaffer. England are getting ready to chase 285 against Afghanistan in Delhi. It's Afghanistan's second highest World Cup score, so a decent effort from them. Don't forget to download the ESPN Cricinfo app so you can catch up on all the news, the scores, the analysis as the rest of this match and the rest of the World Cup plays on. And thank you for joining us here on Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricinfo Matchday. We'll be back after the game with all the analysis.
Stunning looks, then swift,